Dear Diary, black is definitely not my color. I must be the only woman on the East Coast the black doesn't look good on. But what else would you wear when you go to a funeral? You wouldn't show up in white. That'd be kind of awkward. Neither red, purple, or blue. You'd look retarded. Funerals are a black attire event, but who in the world wrote the rule for it to be that way? Was it some sadistic, gothic, rock-loving Pierce Druggy who wanted to imprint their culture on the society? Maybe it's to get back at the man. I don't know, but black is utterly depressing. Speaking about utterly depressing things, my grandfather's funeral was absolutely and utterly not depressing as I thought it would be. But then again, my cousins never did anything by the book. Surprisingly, it was quite comical by the audience's response, but I found it rather pathetic. The so-called reverend, my southern hick of a cousin Lenny, did the eulogy. But instead of instilling a passionate sense of loss and sadness, he reminded us all why we hated Grandpa Sam. He's the devil's problem now. Aside from all the illegitimate children, unpaid hookers, 4 ex-wives, thousands of dollars in debt, and a hit placed on him, which Cousin Carl attempted to collect by trying to dig up Grandpa Sam's dead body. As I listened to Lenny read off the will, I truly expected to get nothing. But even though he was dead, Grandpa Sam's still full of surprises. Pa got Grandpa Sam's money, which was a whole $18.30 found in his shoe. And Uncle Ben got Melinda Veracruz, Grandpa Sam's Mexican beauty who kept him company until he got put 6 feet under. Then there was me. I got handed the deed to Grandpa Sam's sandwich shop, Texas Lovin'. So, of course, like all good managers, I go check out my new piece of real estate. And lo and behold, it looked like a rabbit with a chainsaw wrecked the place. I could have just given up right there, gone home back to my blue state of New Jersey. I would have, until he entered the door. Kenneth Dashiell Foreman II was a sight for sore eyes. I mean, he was gorgeous. Drop dead and go to heaven gorgeous. His golden blonde hair framed his rough, handsome face and cascaded over his broad shoulders. He was just so hot. So much for the help wanted sign, because I had found my help. With Kenny, my nickname for Kenneth, we set up shop. We cleaned the place, stocked the shelves, bought appliances, the works. He was truly a gift from heaven. Day by day, I was thanking my Grandpa Sam. May his punishment in hell be less than he deserves, because for once, he did something good. In but 2 short weeks of having the help wanted sign up, we had a full staff of 5 workers: Buddy, Bubba, Jenkins, Mary Ann Brown, Jillian Smith, Kenny, and myself. And in a month, we had a booming business. But the happiness didn't last long. My southern heaven turned into a southern hell faster than a jackrabbit chasing a squirrel on a unicycle. It all started with Bubba. We all knew Bubba had some mental problems. Then all hell broke loose. And I mean, the devil woke up inside that man. At first, he'd have these short outbursts when things didn't go his way, but soon he was a gun-slinging lunatic. His brain had finally snapped and darn near shot at my southern beauty. Sadly, we had to fire him. So, like any good manager would do, I put up my help wanted sign again. It was only about a day when Dex Marshall, walked through my door. He was the typical southern bad boy. Black cowboy hat, unkempt, and so totally hired. We needed a gimmick to get some more customers, and Dex would surely bring in the ladies. Our own Mary Ann couldn't even keep her eyes off him. There was no problem with it at first. I didn't mind co-worker relations. Kenny and I were together, no reason that I shouldn't let Dex and Mary Ann. But it was the events after that which caused me problems. Dex was surely a ladies' man. And aside from Mary Ann, he probably slept with every girl who came into the shop. He was definitely taking our name to heart. Now, I tried to tell Mary Ann he was cheating on her, but she downright wouldn't listen, so I decided to catch Dex in the act. Setting up a hidden video camera in the employees' lounge where he did his lovin', I caught that cheating scallywag. The next day, I marched up to Mary Ann and let her watch her man loving another woman. She busted into tears, of course, but it wasn't until I read a paper she gave me did I really understand why. Mary Ann had contracted 5 STDs, all from no one other than that bed-hopping toad, Dexter Marshall. I couldn't truly feel sorry for her. I warned her, but she didn't listen. I lost 2 employees that day. Mary Ann's parents paid for her to go to California to receive expensive medical treatment for the consequences of being with a philandering boyfriend, and Dex plainly got fired for giving half of my female customer base herpes. So again, I put up my infamous help wanted sign. I was hoping this time it didn't attract psycho killers or philandering employees. And thank the Lord Almighty, I got Sarah and Joshua Dixon. Now, Sarah was a good person, sweet, kind, and everything a good employee should be. But Joshua, now he was fine. If Kenny was drop dead, go to heaven gorgeous, Joshua was drop dead, go to heaven 10 times over, pinch me if I'm dreaming gorgeous. I mean, he had all Kenny had, but there was just something about him when he walked through that door that was different. Right then and there, I wanted to give him some Texas lovin'. Kenny was a little jealous, but I'd found my new man, and his name was Joshua Dixon. Everything else just phased out of my consciousness. There was only Joshua and me and Joshua, and we were happy together. That was until Kenny went overboard. I was planning our 1-week anniversary. It was gonna be a big hullabaloo. I was gonna have cake, ice cream, and of course, the Texas lovin' sandwiches. I had just closed down shop and went to the back to get some supplies for the party. I rounded up Jillian and Sarah to help me take the utensils to the front. But as I turned around, ready to hand Jillian a box, I heard 2 pops from a pistol and felt a warm wave of liquid flow over me. There he was, the devil himself in Kenny's form. As Kenny inched closer to me, Joshua came in and beat Kenneth Dashiell Foreman II to death with the infamous help wanted sign. I was never the same after that. No longer did I put up help wanted signs for employees. Instead, I put up help wanted signs in the local newspaper for mental help. Thankfully, I found Miss Meredith, the lady in charge of the Institute for Mentally Disturbed People who think they see their dead lovers and friends. Miss Meredith thinks the best way for me to get better is write about the events that led up to me being institutionalized. This has been my 2,935th diary entry on an event that happened 8 years ago, and help is still wanted.